Hi, I'm Amy, and I'd like to talk to you about using a gripper strip frame for punch needle rug hooking. This isn't a how-to video for making a frame, but if you have the skills or don't mind buying a beer for someone who has the skills, I can give you a few pointers that will help you out. The first is make a nice sturdy frame, and you need the edge of it to be curved, and you can do that with a router. The other thing is you need to have the right kind of gripper. Gripper strips come 40 inches long, and there are different types. One is for burlap and linen, and the other is for monk's cloth and linen. Because we use monks and linen, this is the kind that we carry. If you have a look at it, it's got thousands of these little teeth. It's kind of like a dog brush, and you want to make sure that the teeth are angling out when you put it on the frame. That's what makes it grip the backing. When you cut it to get it the right length, it's a little tricky. It's got all of these staples, so the trick is to draw your line where you want to cut it, and then these little teeth are actually staples, so you're just going to use a little ice pick or an X-Acto knife and just pry out these staples, and then you can cut it with scissors. To attach it to the frame, you need a really strong stapler, like an air stapler, to get it on there. You'll find that over time you might get some fibers and fuzz in your gripper frame. A handy tool to have is a wire brush. You can just brush the stuff right out of your frame. To get your rug backing on the gripper frame, you're just going to lay it on the frame. And this is a McAdoo Rugs Hen and Chicks pattern. What I want to do is get it centered on the frame. I might want to make it bigger, so it's nice to have the same amount of room all the way around. You could use a ruler to measure it, but I tend to just keep my hand the same amount, my fingers the same amount apart to measure and adjust. If needed, I'm just going to move it that way. Now when you lay it on the frame, have a look. You've got white guidelines every 2 inches. I like to make sure that those are parallel with the frame, so it's nice and straight when you get started. And once I've done that, I'm going to just gently pull on it to get it on the frame, keeping an eye on those white lines. I'm not pulling very hard. There, so I have a look and make sure it's still round, which it is, a good thing. And then I'm going to tighten it up, and I like to do that sitting down. And when you're tightening on here, these grippers are not very sharp. You can rub your hands on them. The only place that is sharp is the corners where we've cut the gripper. So beware of those corners. I'm just going to put my fingers like that and pull it. I'm pulling it as hard as I can. Now, do you hear that noise? There's nothing hurting the monk's cloth. It's just the sound of the monk's cloth dragging across the grippers. So that's my second side. My third side. And here's my fourth side. That white line is still lined up well. And look how tight that is from just going around once. I believe that's fine, just like that. If you wanted to go around again to get it tighter, you could do that. Then I like to stand up and have a look at my pattern and make sure that it's still round, that it's still the right shape. And if I see I've got a little dip somewhere, I just like to pull on that to make sure that it's the right shape. And I think that's good enough for me. I think that looks just fine. So now to protect my hands, I'm going to put my frame cover on here, like so. This is a double layer flannel, so it's nice and thick. And as I mentioned, the corners are sharp in the gripper strip, so I'm going to take these double layer flannel squares, fold them in half, and I'm going to cover those sharp corners like so. There, now you're good to go and ready to punch.